What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, coming back at you tonight to do a quick lake breakdown overview for Lake Sinclair out in Georgia. We just got this one finished a few weeks ago. We've already put out a shorts on it, so if you want to know what it looks like on our Simplistic mobile app, you can always go check out that video. I'll try to put a link up here for you guys, or just go out to our shorts playlist and you'll see them out there. Several other lakes we've done as well. But let's take a look at Sinclair really quick from the graph side, right? So this is if you were going to purchase these waypoints to be using with your graphs, or maybe you just want to use them for personal use with Google Earth and all the other apps that are out there, navionics and all that good stuff. So let's just show you how we have it broke down to start with. So to begin, Sinclair was definitely a very large lake. So we've broken it down into three sections. We've got the north section, which pretty much starts right here at this little area right here. This is kind of where I made the break. So we'll start right here, and then we go everything north, right? And so that's the whole north section right there. Then we've got the west section. That's going to be that same area right in here. I wish I had a little something, 5 domains. It says 5. Nobody's going to know what that is. Let's see. You guys can see what it is. Basically, there's a big marina down here too, the Sinclair Marina. So basically anything west of Sinclair Marina, that's going to be Sinclair West. And then anything east is going to be Sinclair South, sorry, is going to be that Sinclair Marina, and then all the way down here to the south. So this lake was really interesting, breaking it down. One thing that I noticed a ton while I was going through the breakdowns is it's got quite a bit of vegetation. So hopefully you'll have some really good opportunities to fish around vegetation, whether it be grass or lily pads or what all's out there. There should be plenty of vegetation. You can see it on the satellite, and you can tell that when we broke this thing down, we have a lot of different vegetation that's actually marked on here. So if I unselect all these, you can see all the different areas of vegetation throughout this lake. And that's where we could see it. It was consistent, so it should be pretty consistent to be able to fish around that. So pretty awesome knowing where all those different spots are for that vegetation. Then let's take a look at some of the other stuff. There weren't too many attractors on this northern side. I think there's what, 6 attractors there. So I have them out there for you so you can take a look at those. Those are always really good to fish around. Typically, you're going to hear people say, hey, those are mainly for crappie and stuff like that. But if there's crappie there, there's bass there. And I'm telling you, these fish attractors can be really magical spots for sure. Then we've also got the channels and ditches now coming up, say, in springtime, for sure. And going into the fall as well. Any of these areas where you see these green lines, those are channels that are coming into the lake, so probably major creek arms and stuff like that. And you can follow those channels and see exactly where they are on the map. Now, one, you could get in the channel, especially if there's vegetation in those channels. If you stay in that channel, you should be able to get onto the weed lines. And if you're not thinking vegetation, just knowing where those creeks are coming in, those are going to be your hotter areas, your higher percentage areas to find fish. We've also got several different areas for cover and structure. Not a ton, that we were able to find because really this lake doesn't fluctuate that much, but several different laydowns you can see, several different areas where we found some flats, a couple different areas where we found some debris, like over here we found some debris by this dock, but nothing too crazy. I didn't find too much that really popped out to me here. I didn't find a bunch of old foundations or anything like that, that sometimes I'll be able to find, but still some pretty good stuff. Then we've got the offshore stuff. Now you can't see all the offshore hotspots on Google Earth because obviously they don't have the contour lines, but if you take these and you import them into the Navionics mobile app or an app that has the contours, you would definitely see why these are offshore hotspots. I really felt like this lake looks like a really good offshore lake. It's got really good creek channels. It's got turns and bends and all kinds of stuff. Lots of good points to fish around. You can see we've got all those spots marked throughout the lake. Just several different ones, lots of good creek channel swings. So just really good offshore stuff on this one. And some good news too, if you use the Simplistic Fishing mobile app, we just recently started development we partnered with Navionics, Garmin and Navionics. We partnered with them to now put contours into our mobile app. So that is going to be coming soon, probably within the next 30, 45 days. On our mobile app, not only will you have, this satellite imagery, but now we're going to have a function where you basically click a button and it shows you the contours as well. So it's going to be super cool. Looking forward to that. All right, then we also have ramps throughout, ramps and slabs. If you've ever watched any of my breakdowns before, these slabs, not necessarily the main ramps, and they can be good too, but a lot of these slabs can be really good fishing during certain times of the year. They attract bait fish. They've got a lot of that gunk and slime on it and stuff like that, which, attracts smaller fish, and that attracts bigger fish, and it just keeps going up the food chain. So I've had several times where I've gotten, not on this lake per se, but I've gotten on this little boat ramp pattern and just had heydays. So don't forget about the boat ramps. And the other good thing is you got them all marked in case you get yourself into trouble out there and you need to find a ramp. Not a lot of rocks on this lake. You can see there's only a few, I wouldn't say a few, but definitely a handful at least, or more of different types of rocky spots. Now, a lot of this rock that we found is going to be like riprap or shallow rock, like right up against the bank line, stuff like that, that kind of rock, right? So nothing too crazy, no big boulders or rocks that we found or anything like that, but definitely some areas where you could get up there shallow, get you up there with some shallow crankbaits and things like that, and really start being effective. And then last but not least was all the vegetation we talked about. So let's kick this over and let's look at west real quick. And I'll go through kind of the same thing we went through there, except for I'll go a little bit quicker this time. So let's start with the vegetation. Again, not as much vegetation on this west side, right? You saw a lot of vegetation in here, but once we got back in here, I didn't see as much kind of back in this area, but then I started to see some more down in here. That's not to say that there's not some in here. I just can't physically see it with the satellite like I can on some of this other stuff, or maybe it was not enough to really make it worthwhile to go all the way back in there. Now we've got several different areas of rocks over here, a lot different than that northern section, right? You've got a lot of different rocky areas here, shallow rock, rocky points, stuff like that that you can fish around. So some pretty good rocky areas over in this area for sure. And then the ramps, of course, all the ramps and slabs that are out there. You've got the offshore stuff, which is always awesome. If I double click this, it will show it here in a second. There we go. So there's all of our offshore stuff. That, like I said, this lake has all kinds of nice like turns and swings. I mean, you can even see like right here, right? Just looking right in here from an offshore standpoint. Obviously, I'm going to fish around this bridge because you got to fish around the bridges, right? And that point looks pretty juicy too. But if that point's not juicy, maybe this thing comes up and swings against that point, or maybe it turns here and swings back this way. I don't know. I'd have to see it on a contour map. But either way, one of these points is probably going to be pretty productive from an offshore standpoint. And this one should be too, because it should swing up and come really close to this point and probably this area in here. So just looking right there, I'm seeing 3 or 4 good offshore spots just right there in front of me. So lots of good offshore opportunities here for sure. Then we've got, we'd already talked about the ramps. We got cover and structure, mainly laydowns. I did see a couple trees, a little bit of debris, but nothing too crazy, right? Just like the other part. Channels and ditches, we got quite a few here. You can see all the different channels. A lot's going on up here with the main rivers and some good creek channels back here, some good ditches. There's a little drain down in here you could check out. So some pretty good stuff going on there. And then in these splash, you've got these really good channels too, right? You've got a really good channel going on right there. And there's more of those throughout that whole entire west side. So it looks very good. And then attractors, lots of attractors on this side. I don't know how many there are. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's about, I don't know, there's either 12 or 13 right here on this side. Mainly kind of stacked up right here in this area. So if you're fishing, fish attractors, launching in this area is going to save you a ton of time because you've got plenty to fish around right there in that area. And then last but not least, let's go take a look at the south section before we wrap up this video. Same type thing again, guys. We're going to start off with the vegetation because I like going backwards today. We're going to start off with the vegetation, and there's quite a bit on this side too. It seems like it's in certain areas like really heavy right in here, and then it kind of gets sparse, and then it starts getting heavy again. But you can see where we've marked all the different areas where we found the vegetation. We've also got the rock in this area. Not a ton of rock, but more than that northern side for sure. You've got a lot of rock obviously down by that little dam that's down, or I guess that is I don't know if that's the main dam or not, but some kind of dam that's down in there. It's got quite a bit of rock around it. But then you've also got the shallow rock and the riprap and stuff like that we've marked for you as well, that you can get up there really shallow, square bill and stuff like that. Then we've got the ramps and the slabs, quite a few out here, right? We've got them all marked for you. Got those offshore hotspots marked, which never want to show up until I double click them. Then they come back and they finally just magically appeared. Very strange for Google Earth. But again, some really good stuff. Like if you're up in here around the Sinclair Marina, you've got some pretty good offshore stuff just right there. Like, you know, you can launch right there and boom, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 different spots. And these look good. You can actually tell in this one that there's some kind of a hump going on out here or something like that. I'm sure these are points that extend out. We just can't see it from the satellite imagery, but you've got some really good offshore stuff just right there by the marina, really easy to get to. Then you got cover and structure, same thing as last time, a little bit of debris, mainly laydowns. Didn't see anything spectacular, no huge underwater things that I found. But still, if you're on that laydown pattern, we've got plenty of laydowns for you guys to check out. And this side's had quite a few laydowns on the northern side. Those are the 2 sides that seem to have the most. Then we've also got the channels and ditches we've talked about, several different ditches that are here, but then you got the green lines where we're able to see the channels as well. So some pretty good stuff back in there. And then we'll finish this off by looking at the attractors. Quite a few over here too, probably 10 to 15 at least, but pretty heavy here. So if you're fishing that south and that west side, you know, we had those attractors in here. This a little bit of a boat ride, but you could actually cover all those attractors probably in one day. It might take you a while. I don't know about fishing them all, but you could definitely graph them all. So anyways, lots of attractors, lots of good stuff. That's 3 different sections. You can purchase the sections separately on our website, simplisticfishing.com. You can just get the north, the west, or the south, or you can purchase them all. It's totally up to you. You can get them in your graphs. We support all the graphs. And then if you don't want it on your graph, go out, download Simplistic Fishing mobile app. We've got all these waypoints out there on the Simplistic Fishing mobile app where you can filter them, you can favorite waypoints, you can do all that good stuff. You can either sign up for the regions to get a monthly subscription for the region, so all the lakes in that region, or you can sign up for just Lake Sinclair and just get the waypoints for that. So go check it out, Simplistic Fishing. It's out on the Apple Store or Google Play. And until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.